this case here needs to be revisited. And I listened to a podcast years ago with her bereaving father. She's actually Italian. She's Italian American. Her father's straight up Italian. And he was claiming back then that she was a victim of foul play. He didn't point any fingers, but he did not accept the official report of her death. He even had her hair analyzed, and there were all these heavy metals in there, unusual amounts of it. And of course, Ashton Kutcher went silent on his relationship with her as well. And he's being scrutinized very closely as all these stories are coming out about this milieu.
I'm trying to ponder the mechanism, because people get pneumonia all the time, and young people or middle-aged people tend not to die. Yet we've got a disproportionate amount of people dying that are in that age category where it's relatively safe. So is it a case of someone comes in and they over-medicalize the person, and that in combination with the pneumonia knocks them over the edge?
That's possible because the sedative, powerful sedative, lithium figures into these stories quite often. We heard this in the case of Kanye West. He said they were trying to, his people, this also brings in the whole issue of custodians, right? Britney Spears, custodial help. There's these crooked judges and these people in so-called mental health, the mental health mafia, who are putting a number on these targeted celebrities and saying, you have to go under custodial custody. We're going to take your capital, your wealth, and we're going to control it. And you're working for us. This is like the old-fashioned mafia extortion racket writ large, with a medical overlay, psychiatry, and so-called mental health. This is something that hopefully incoming czar of health, Robert Kennedy Jr., will look at, the so-called mental health industry. We have lots of mentally ill people who aren't just appearing crazy out of the blue like Kanye West. They tried that on him. It didn't work. The public took his side. The public has taken the side of Britney Spears, who's written her own book about her predicament, and other celebrities who are drugged up so they can be controlled and their wealth extracted from them by these custodians, these crooked judges, and the people who pay them off to shunt their wealth away. This is what's happening regularly. Now we see that Randy Quaid was a prophet. He was stigmatized as just a crackpot. Him and his wife Evie, they went on the run. I'm interested to see what they have to say now, because they've been proven right. So this is all part of the body of work that's been in play for several decades now. It goes back to through the 30s, when the mob came in from Chicago and strong-armed the Hollywood moguls into this. Same with the music industry, and it's classic mob tactics. It's extortion. It's a racket, and it also feeds into the philanthropy world. Right? We remember the testimony that Ashton Kutcher gave in Congress about protecting the children. Right? That sort of came out. I didn't realize he was a humanitarian. And we find out that it's part.
Let me just tell the viewers, sorry to interrupt, but sure. Professor Hamamoto has got 49,900 subscribers presently. We've got 1,100 people watching the stream. He just needs 100 subscribers to get to 50,000, folks.
Wow.
We have got until the hour of Professor Hamamoto, so I will periodically refresh this. But come on, I'm going to put his link in the chat. Let's get Professor Hamamoto to 50,000 subscribers by the end of this interview. This is the goal. If you know anyone who will subscribe, send him or her the link and tell them Help Professor Hamamoto get to 50K. Let's go. All right. So sorry, Daryl. Let's interrupt you.
No need to apologize, Mr. Atwood. Thank you very much for the telethon in the middle of your live cast. Drive up those subscriptions. I want to be an influencer. I want to be a YouTube celebrity. Not really.
M13 subscribed. Lorena just subscribed. Helena's just subscribed. Tommy just subscribed. Vanessa, Michael, Emma, Deborah. Yes, thank you guys. Thank you, Jason. Yes, Catherine. Be happy. Yes, thank you. Kat. Yes, thank you. It's rising. It's rising.
Thank you.
There we go. So,
And
if
we
you
have
just
to find
tuned in,
yeah.
we saw the Diddy superseding indictment come down last night, and I was in London. I immediately contacted Professor Hamamoto so we could get a discussion of this going, and then we got Lionel coming in 30 minutes on the same subject, and he'll also be talking about the DC crash, the plane crash, and his theories around it. So when you saw the superseding indictment come in, you know, we've got more alleged victims now. You know, they're expanding it. They're saying they may even introduce more down the road. You started out this interview saying that Trump's, you know, making a display of law and order, and you know, Diddy's going to go down. Basically, that's what is being signaled to you. And is the superseding indictment part of that signaling?
Yes, but remember the other part, and it's probably even more crucial. Not only is his new Justice Department going to make the charges stick against Sean Combs and his coterie, his network, but remember the second part is containment, damage control. Maureen Comey is there to make sure that the other people above Sean Combs aren't splashed. Right? They want to make sure that their man, for example, Arista, what's his name? The ancient dude, Clive Davis. I get him confused with Clive Barker, the horror director. Clive Davis. Like, who is he? He goes back to the days of, Meyer Lansky. You know, it's continued. There's a through line in all of this, except now those gangsters of old, which were not allowed to be in the white shoe profession of the law. They couldn't even get into Harvard as Jews, right? But now they are the lawyers. They are on Wall Street. They are, and they're in the political level. You've got Chucky Schumer and Adam Schiff. They're in elective office. So they've gotten over it, and they want to make sure that their whole criminal enterprise continues into the future. And by the way, they're trying to use the yellow people in exchange. They're rolling out the black people right now, but they were rolling in the yellows in order to be that sort of shield for their earlier criminal enterprise. I wrote a whole book on it. It's called Servitors of Empire. And most of them are scientists, engineers, AI experts like Suchir Balaji, techies, multimillionaires at age 30 who are pioneering the new AI, which people like Sam Altman want, right? You've got some massive wealth here that's up for grabs now, and the music industry is only a part of it. Now, I don't know if you call this, but a lot of top artists, singer-songwriters were selling all or part of their catalogs, their publishing. This is going on a couple years ago, and I couldn't understand why all of a sudden Bob Dylan was selling part of his catalog. He's a Nobel laureate. And he was just one person, and it was being sold to this front company called Hypnosis. And their logo is a dead elephant upside down. They're signaling something. The music industry is a dead elephant. So these people got advance warning, and they sold their intellectual property because all that's going into the AI system. But they have an inconvenient, not in my view, but in their view, they have an inconvenient body of creators, of artists whose property they want. They got rid of a couple of prominent ones already. They go by the name of Michael Jackson. They go by the name of Prince. Earlier than that, they go by the name of Sam Cooke, which had his own publishing company before he was set up. But now they're sweeping out the whole raft of these individuals by bringing up all this unseemly information and making sure that these charges stick. So I'm looking at it downstream, not from headline to headline. I'm looking at the larger scope of all this. And the LA fires play a critical role in this cleansing process, almost on a ritualistic level, if not a ritualistic level. The fires. And one of these commentary, I can't remember, she was one of these people who were caught up as a victim of the I forgot her name, but she predicted as much, that there were going to be these calamities and fires and disposal of evidence in the Los Angeles area. And sure enough, it happened.
And what do you think? They're trying to take advantage of this to do the smart cities?
Yes, that's what's being bandied about. A lot of this, and I come from the academic world, a lot of this has been planned for decades from the universities. And you have them in the UK too. They're called the departments of urban studies or urban planning or design. These are the people who are decades ago have already workshopped how they want the new city of the 21st century to function. And we play a really, really small part in that. We're sort of like the lubricant for the machines there. They want us to put us in these electronic vehicles called Teslas or super trucks. And Elon Musk is part of this as well, because that is not a car company. That is a data collection company. That's their primary function. So they're gathering all this intel from the music world to our driving habits, our retail purchases, to our psychology, through our Twitter account or X accounts, our socials. All of that is going into this Borg. This is the Great Reset. This is the true, not Klaus Schwab, right? He's just their spokesboy. Of course, the WEF is part of it, but of course, Donald Trump is calling them out. He's pulled out of the World Health Organization. So there is hope here. And it's coming from the grassroots. It comes from the journalists and the independent researchers and journalists and scholars who have been pursuing these lines of inquiry, even under the threat of official harassment like yourself, or just everyday trollism, right? But we push on because the truth is irrepressible.
We pushed you up to 50,000 subs, and people are congratulating you. You've just reached it.
All right. Peace, everybody. Now I want to get to 100,000 so I can have the play button from TubeView. I'm